When you think of someone irresistible, what comes to mind? Is it their looks, their charm, or perhaps something else? It's none of that. The real magic lies in detachment. Now, detachment doesn't mean being cold or aloof. It means living in your power, owning your self-worth, and putting your purpose first. When you truly value yourself, people can feel it. And women, they crave that energy. Why? Because self-worth is magnetic. A man who respects himself becomes someone worth respecting. Think about it. Have you ever been more interested in something the moment it felt just out of reach? That's the principle of scarcity. When a man is detached, it signals that his time, energy, and attention are not free for just anyone. Women value this. It's not about playing games, it's about authentically understanding your value and ensuring others do too. Here's the truth. Women are deeply attracted to strength, not physical strength, but the strength of independence. A man who is grounded in his own life, his own goals, and his own happiness creates a sense of stability. She sees that he doesn't need her to complete him, and that makes him irresistible. Lastly, let's talk about emotional mastery. Detachment is not indifference, it's control. When you can handle your emotions with calmness and clarity, it creates trust. Women want someone who can be steady, even in the stormiest moments of life. So how do you embody this? Start by building your foundation. Focus on your purpose, your growth, and your passions. Learn to love your own company and appreciate your value. When you do this, you'll find that the right people, including women, are drawn to you effortlessly. Remember, detachment isn't about shutting people out. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you naturally attract those who see it too. Take charge of your life, set the tone, be the man who inspires, not chases, because when you stand tall in your power, you won't just attract love. You'll attract admiration, respect, and the kind of connection that lasts. Now go out there and own it. The world is watching, and so are they. When a man truly values himself, it shows in every aspect of his life, his words, his actions, and even his presence. Self-worth is not just a mindset, it's a state of being, a quiet confidence that others can feel even without him saying a word. And when it comes to attraction, this is a game changer. Women are instinctively drawn to men who know their value and aren't afraid to live by it. Hey, what does valuing yourself really mean? It's not arrogance or a need to prove you're better than anyone else. True self-worth is rooted in understanding that your time, energy, and attention are valuable resources, not to be handed out carelessly. It's about prioritizing your own growth, passions, and purpose above all else. When a man operates from this place of self-respect, he creates a magnetic energy that pulls people toward him. Women in particular can sense this energy on a deep level. It's not about what he says. It's about the unshakable belief in himself that he carries everywhere he goes. This isn't just theory, it's a universal principle of human nature. When you treat yourself as valuable, others will too. Think about it, if you walked into a store and saw a high-rising item in a beautiful display, you'd assume it's worth the price. But if that same item were in the discount bin, you might question its value, even if the product itself hasn't changed. The way you carry yourself and the standards you set signal to others how you expect to be treated. Men who understand this principle don't chase validation from others. They don't cling to relationships or bend over backward to be liked. Instead, they focus on building a life they're proud of, one filled with purpose, passion, and personal achievement. When a man prioritizes his growth over external approval, he naturally becomes more attractive. His self-worth sets him apart in a world where so many people are desperate for attention and affirmation. What's fascinating is how this mindset influences behavior. A man who values himself doesn't fear rejection because he knows it doesn't diminish his worth. He's willing to walk away from situations or people that don't align with his values. This is incredibly attractive because it shows strength and confidence. Women see this as a sign of a man who knows what he wants and won't settle for less. And that's rare. It's also a reminder to them that they, too, must rise to meet his standards if they want to be a part of his life. One of the most powerful qualities a man can possess in any relationship is emotional mastery. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending to be unaffected by life's challenges. Instead, emotional mastery is about having the ability to navigate your feelings with awareness and control, ensuring that your reactions don't overwhelm or dictate your behavior. A man who practices emotional mastery is calm under pressure, confident in his responses, and unwavering in the face of adversity. And these are incredibly attractive qualities. Women are drawn to men who can handle their emotions because emotional stability fosters a sense of safety and security. When you're able to stay composed, even in difficult situations, you send a message that you can be relied upon, no matter what life throws your way. This is an essential trait in a partner, especially when life inevitably presents challenges. Women want someone who won't lose their temper over small things or crumble when things get tough. Emotional mastery shows that you can think clearly, act thoughtfully, and remain steady, even when the world around you feels chaotic. The beauty of emotional mastery lies in its subtlety. It doesn't require grand gestures or constant reassurances. It's in the way a man handles a tough conversation without raising his voice, or how he remains calm when a plan falls apart. Women recognize these moments because they reflect maturity and strength, qualities that inspire admiration and attraction. Emotional mastery doesn't come from controlling others or situations, but rather from having control over yourself. And that makes all the difference. It allows you to respond rather than react, to choose how you want to show up in the world, regardless of external circumstances. Now, let's take a deeper look at the energy of independence. Independence is not just about being able to take care of yourself financially or physically. It's about creating an emotional and psychological foundation where you are self-sufficient, grounded in your own identity, and not relying on anyone else to fulfill your sense of worth. Men who embody true independence are secure in themselves. They don't need validation from others, and they don't need to cling to others for a sense of belonging. When a man is independent, he brings an energy of freedom and choice into the relationship. He doesn't feel the pressure to conform or sacrifice his needs to make someone else happy. This level of self-assurance is highly attractive to women because it creates a relationship dynamic where both partners are free to be themselves. There's no need for constant approval or reassurance because each person is already secure in their own individuality. Furthermore, independence fosters healthy boundaries. It ensures that both partners have the space to grow individually while still being connected in a meaningful way. This balance between closeness and freedom is essential for a relationship to thrive over time. When you're truly independent, you don't become emotionally dependent on your partner for your happiness. Instead, you bring your full self to the relationship, which allows both individuals to elevate each other. Women are drawn to men who can maintain their own identity while being fully present in the relationship because it creates the foundation for a strong, balanced connection. Lastly, let's explore the power of scarcity and how it connects to emotional detachment. The concept of scarcity isn't about playing games or pretending to be unavailable. It's about creating value through your time, attention, and energy. When a man is detached from needing external validation or constant approval, his presence becomes more impactful. He doesn't chase after relationships or cling to people. Instead, he allows connections to develop naturally without forcing anything. Scarcity is powerful because it makes people value what they can't easily have. When a man lives with a sense of detachment, his attention is not freely given, it is earned. This doesn't mean he's cold or uninterested, but rather that he is fully invested in his own life and his own journey. His detachment comes from a place of confidence, knowing that he has his own life to lead and he's not desperate for anyone else to define his worth. Now, women find this kind of emotional detachment compelling because it signals self-assurance, independence, and a deep sense of purpose. The beauty of emotional detachment lies in its subtlety. When a man doesn't chase after affection or attention, he creates an air of mystery and intrigue. He's not constantly trying to prove his value or force a connection. Instead, he trusts that the right relationships will unfold naturally. This calm, relaxed energy is what makes a man attractive. It's not about being unavailable for the sake of games, but about leading a full life where his worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval. Women are naturally drawn to this energy because it conveys confidence, stability, and a sense of self. Together, emotional mastery, independence, and detachment create an aura of strength, maturity, and authenticity. When a man can balance these qualities, he becomes someone who doesn't need to chase validation, but instead attracts the right people into his life. This powerful combination makes him irresistible, not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because he's simply living in alignment with his own purpose and values. And that ultimately is the most magnetic thing of all. In conclusion, the qualities that make a man truly attractive are not about superficial traits or trying to conform to someone else's expectations. They lie in his ability to value himself, to remain independent, and to practice emotional mastery. When a man understands his worth and doesn't rely on external validation, he naturally creates a life that is magnetic. His time becomes precious because it's dedicated to his own growth, purpose, and passions. This kind of man doesn't chase after attention or love. He simply lives with confidence, and that confidence draws others toward him. The energy of scarcity is not about manipulation, but about creating a sense of value by investing in his own life and letting relationships develop naturally. Emotional mastery, in turn, ensures that when challenges arise, he handles them with calm, poise, and resilience. Traits that inspire trust and admiration. And independence, perhaps the most powerful of all, ensures that he stands on his own, emotionally and mentally, never relying on someone else to complete him, but choosing to share his life from a place of strength and self-sufficiency. These qualities together create a foundation for deep, meaningful connections. Women and people in general are drawn to this energy because it's rare, it's real, and it's rooted in the belief that a man is whole on his own. So, if you want to attract love, respect, and admiration, focus on developing these aspects of yourself. Lead with self-worth, independence, emotional control, and detachment from the need for approval. When you do this, you won't have to chase anything. You'll attract everything that aligns with your true self. Live authentically and watch the world respond to you in ways that are beyond your expectations. The power of detachment is not in rejecting others, but in being so grounded in who you are that you allow relationships to grow naturally and freely. Be the man who inspires not through effort, but through the strength of his presence. When you stand firmly in your own value, you'll find that everything else, respect, love, and meaningful connections will follow. So go ahead, take charge of your life, and let the world see the incredible man you are, because when you live this way, you won't just attract relationships, you'll attract a life that's truly worth living.